Yeah.
Yeah, super blessed stills. I mean, I appreciate learning this kind of stuff, right? Because I feel like, when you listen to hip hop and you're not from New York, there's a lot of layers to it that don't translate. As much as we might be scholars, etc., we might study it. Hearing the stories of people and how they've grown up has impacted my appreciation for what comes out of New York a lot more than I think the people from New York are even aware. So it's kind of like super cool that you would share all that. But you did say at the adolescent, little 12-ish age, it starts to evolve and change a little bit. So what starts to happen to is it just the puberty kicks in?
So no, you know what happens? We go back home. So I was in a foster home for like
Oh,
about 5 or 6 years. Yeah, so we go back home. Everybody's back at home in mommy's house. She got a big crib. Everybody's there. There's a basement, an attic. Like everybody's home, right? So now my brothers are big Wu Tang, um, AZ, and these type rap. They're big fans of those rappers. So this is now new to me. So they playing Bone Thugs and shit like that. So now I'm around that. So now I go look at the lyrics to these guys. The songs I like, I'm gonna go pull up the lyrics. I want to see what these dudes are talking about, and it just takes off from there. I start fucking with Cash Money and Ja Rule and Jay Z, of course. That Jay Z's Hard Knock Life was the first album I bought myself. Like I went to the store and said, "Yo, give me that one."
so
So yeah,
That's
I got it.
that's so dope, right? Though, like remembering your first CD,
yeah, I
you
will
know,
never forget that.
that
Yeah,
means it means a lot. The first one that you buy for yourself, like it means something to you,
right.
especially
Yeah.
when you're young and you don't have money, right? Because it's not like
Mm-hmm.
you got a job and you understand money like that,
Exactly.
right? You just understand like this is my first
Nigga, my
little bit of
mom was
money,
tight when I
and
came
this is
back
the
with a CD.
first thing that like matters to me so much that I'll like musically, you know.
But you know what's ill about the Hard Knock Life CD is that it was fire. So imagine you buy a CD and it's trash. Your first CD you bought, you like, yo, this shit's ass.
Yo,
But
I'll be
nah,
honest
that
with
shit
you.
was super fire.
The first CD I got given, right, was Salt and Pepper, a very necessary. I forget the name of the exact title of the album, and I'm not gonna lie, yo, bro, that shit was a dub for me. Like
Man,
I
I
was like, I'm
got,
not
I
bumping this
got,
shit, bro. Like this shit
bro.
trash. Like
Imagine it was Pink Can't Take Me Home.
That was your first album?
Yeah,
Or someone gave it to you?
they gave it to me. Basically the same thing at that age.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
pretty
young
much.
that
Yeah.
somebody gives you an album,
It's
right? Like
basically
Right.
like that.
then
But it might. I don't remember if I chose it or it was like because it might have been like you can pick it, but I'm buying it for you. And like she had that one
Right.
single. I'm like 12, man. I don't really remember.
yeah,
And
yeah. I got given it on some they got it, and I don't think that they like knew what they were getting type shit,
Oh,
you know?
right. I had
And
that
they
too.
just
Yeah.
were like,
I know what
oh,
you're talking about.
it makes sense for like, because I was so young that it's like a young kid would like
Right.
rap, or something like that. But like, it was not. But then the first CD ever that like you're of that age, teenage like that or
Right.
preteen, right? Like when you first
Start making your own
was like,
decisions
yeah,
and
it
doing
was
what you
like
want to do, not
Biggie's
listening
Ready
to
to
people.
Die.
Yeah.
Yeah, Biggie's Ready
mm,
to Die was the
Oh,
one
that
for
was your
me.
first, the first one you
Yeah,
bought?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
that's you see, that's a classic album. It's timeless, and
yeah,
you're
oh
proud of yourself for buying a CD like that. You know what I'm saying? It
yeah.
is what it is.
yeah, I wasn't getting out. I wasn't allowed music with swearing, so it was like I wasn't that explicit lyrical content thing was a huge censor in my life for a long time.
Right.
In the early
That's what
music
I'm
buying
saying. In the
days.
foster home, it was like that for me.
And it was like,
Right.
yeah. But yo, I think it's pretty cool. But like, you said you looked up the lyrics. Were you like looking it up online at that point, or was it like you were guiding the
Yeah.
booklets and
So
shit?
uh, after a while, like so, I was looking through books, but after a while, they stopped putting them in books. So I would have to go on Google. Even back then, it was like when they had the dial up, that's where I was getting the lyrics from. I would go to like an after school program that had the internet, so I would go there, just print up fucking Beanie Siegel, Big Pun, Cannabis, just print up a bunch of shit, go home and read it and study it.
Not for
And
nothing,
like homework.
people like you, right? Which is like I was telling Holden in that beginning section, like part of like why I'm dressed like this is because like we've had a lot of New Yorkers on here, but like I feel like you are a typical New Yorker in a very like proud way. And that like I think that's like something that's dope too. You know what I mean? Like most New Yorkers do tend to be typical, but then want to not be typical, right? So like they'll do things to try to not be the typical New
Right.
Yorkers that
Yeah.
they are. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. You gotta embrace that shit.
But like you're very
Yeah.
embracing of your like typical New Yorkerness. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like that I think that speaks to that. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. It's
Appreciate that.
it's big. Can I just interject to say that the chat is not happy with Flacco's attire, given how hot it is for everyone else on Earth.
Yo, it's so funny because like my crib is so cold, so cool. Like I'm chilling right now. I'm like, yo, I need these layers.
You got the
Like,
AC
yo, it's
right
so
there.
yo, AC is banging on me, yo. What? Like, and I have this shit set to 70, so it's cool as fuck in here.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, it's like we have straight up winter gear on, and I'm like, that's fair. I'm in a tank top, and it's like I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have the purple lights or whatever, because they are not as bad
What's the
as the
weather
normal.
out there?
It's New York weather. We checked it earlier. It's the same weather, the same humidity,
Same weather.
same fucking shit.
Wave.
In my room, it's like 95 right now or some shit. Like
Jesus Christ.
They're a bay city by the water, same as us. So like they're, you know what I mean? Like they're a port city. My
Right.
fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
and
Same
we're
as
like
us. You know?
super like close to y'all geographically. So
Yeah, y'all are far. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like 2 hours up by plane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's right there. It's like as far as Philly, pretty much. You know what I mean? Except that instead of going down, it's going up. So like maybe they'll get cold a little bit like faster than us.
and a
You
little
know,
harder.
but like
A little harder.
yeah, and a little harder. But like that's the only difference. You know, like
But yo,
it's pretty
even
much
like the
same shit.
like when you guys describe your weather seasonal changing, same bullshit up here. Like it's the same. And there's so many similarities like that. But yeah,
I love that.
man, I used to print out the lyrics too. I remember that shit. That's how I was like, say word. I haven't heard anybody bring that up, right? Because usually
Oh,
people
wait.
are like a little bit too young for that. Like by the time, because that's like you had to be the right age to be at the point where you're on the lyric sites, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And so
Yeah, but it's the after school program too, so I was taking advantage of that, just using
That's
the computer
fair.
as much as I could.
I was in like the
Yeah,
high school
yeah.
for me. I didn't have that shit at home, right? So it was high school and then the printer too.
Right.
So at lunchtime I'd be fucking up there
Exactly.
Googling whatever lyrics, printing that shit out, the stacks of papers and whatnot, and that was super fucking relatable.
It's crazy because
So
like
two
you said,
things,
I never
right?
heard people say they printed up lyrics either. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
So
nah,
you're the first
that's
person
it's
to
not
say
it's
that.
not I'm not that demographic. And that's why I was like gonna say, actually, you guys, right? You guys are the fucking ones that made it that genius were geniuses.
Oh, facts,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, thanks to you guys, like they just it's genius. It absolutely is. You know, people want to know the
Just
lyrics
visiting
to
their page
everything.
and shit, yeah.
Like, but I mean, it's because
Yeah,
like
that's it.
the people before us, if they wanted that, would handwrite it, and I've encountered that before, where people would do the handwriting version of it. But like by the time I'm 12 and I'm like in the things, it's 2000, so like you have the internet enough to find lyrics at whatever the fucking lyric sites were, because there were still lyric
Facts.
sites back then. They just were shit. Then Rap
Right.
Genius changed. Holy shit, Rap, bro! When I found
AZ
Rap Genius,
lyrics.
it blew my fucking mind. And then it became Genius, and now it's a little weird. But like, that was like an amazing
Well, even
whole
back-
journey.
Even back then, like when you find those sites become gold. Like they like, now I'm gonna visit this site a whole shit ton more because I don't just listen to one rapper, or I don't want to know just one song, because you know when you hear songs, you don't really hear. Well, for me, I didn't really get some words when songs was being rapped. So I'm like, what did he say there? So I go get the lyrics and find out what he said there. You know what I'm saying? So those sites was gold for us at that time. Those times.
That's hella cool that you brought that up, Stills. So at that point, though, you're still like a fan of music, then, right? Or are you interested of writing? Because you said there's like freestyles and shit going on around. So are you like all integrated into that culture at all?
Nah, like I said, I was never a fan of that music. It was just there, so I would hear it. I wouldn't diss it. I wouldn't say it's trash, but I just wasn't going crazy when I heard it. That's all. And I know it's good music, but I'm just not going crazy about it.
Right.
As I got older, is when Notorious Thugs came out. That's when I was like, yeah, this shit is ill. That's when I was sold on it. You know what I'm saying? Just hip hop.
This matters to me at that point, like type
Yeah,
of shit.
exactly.
Yeah.
Biggie had just died, and then that song right there was just super ill to me.
Yeah, that's what I mean to when I say like Ready to Die, because like before that, I had OPP's tape, and my brother got me in trouble by telling my parents what the fuck OPP stood for. But like, it didn't matter to me, like it wasn't like it mattered. Like that, Ready to Die was when it was like, oh, this matters to me.
Right. Yeah, but you see, I didn't even know the album. Like I said, I was still at that time I was still looking in the booklets, so I didn't have the CD or nothing. But I knew that song, and that song was like, yeah,
That song is super
this
nice.
is what I'm fucking with.
So what happens after you hear that song? Then does it make you like decide to become more of a fan of it, or do you have a desire to start creating?
I'm fanned out at this point. At this point, I'm a fan all the way till the 7th grade. My friend T Gunner, that's my nigga. That's my nigga that been in all my battles. You always see him with me. That's my man. Shout out T Gunner. He used to fucking do the weird Al Yankovic shit in the back of the class. He used to remake songs. At that time, Juvenile, Back That Ass Up was out. And he just remade the whole song. And he let me read it. And I was like, I'll join it. I'll do this shit too. So we just started remaking. We did I'll Be Missing You by Puff. We just remade a bunch of songs on some troll shit. And it started from there.
Were you like recording them or just like writing them?
Nah, just writing them down and putting it on like a voice recorder. You know, the little tape shit we used to have back in the day. That was it. We was too young to go to the studio.
Were you
We
like?
didn't even know how to access one at that time. Word.
So I guess what happens next with it all is you're going through like high school or whatever, or that's middle school, right? That's middle school.
We was in middle school, yeah.
So like, is there like any kind of a live culture around you where people's be rapping and stuff, or is it more like a low key thing?
It's low key for the most part. So after middle school is when we started like getting in ciphers and hitting the corners and going to other blocks and doing what most New York rappers do. Killing niggas in high school, killing niggas in the GD program, just fucking everybody up. Just standing out in whatever cipher you in. That's during high school. That's when we got into the culture for real.
Do you want to elaborate on that just a little bit with more details for other people that don't fully appreciate what? I mean, I personally have heard other people say it, but everybody says it different. It adds this extra flavor to the total story. So it'd be really cool to hear your version of what it's like to be like in high school, running through it.
I mean, so we cut school. So when I say we was rapping in high school, killing niggas in high school, we was killing niggas who was cutting school. So we'll meet outside a bunch of niggas that's doing what we do, and we all just start rapping. It'll start off as a cipher and turn into now I'm better than you, nigga. Boom, and then it just go all out for. And back then, we was freestyling a lot too. It wasn't really no writtens for us. Well, for me, we used to freestyle like a motherfucker back then. It wasn't really nothing set up or nothing. We got kicked out of high school, GD program. Niggas is rapping in the hallway. This is not high school at all. This shit is damn near college, the GD program. So students is running this bitch. This is the asylum. This is Joker's asylum. He's in the asylum running this shit. We running the school and we rapping in the hallways. Teachers walking past us. Teachers rapping with us. That type of shit. We'll come to school with another written next day. Let's do it again. Same niggas battling again, back to back. Same, I'ma see you again, doing it again every day. Same shit. And that lasted until we graduated. And then we'll leave the school and go rap again so somebody crib. Like that type of shit. It just didn't stop for a while. A long while. I had nothing better to do.
I mean, that's still a pretty good use of time.
Facts.
Yeah, but you know, if like, so we rapping and doing shit that we're not supposed to be doing. So it's kind of a waste of time too. We're having fun rapping, but we just
I'm gonna have to say, when I listen to your battle raps later on in life, right, which apparently was lucrative for you as a human, one could argue that that was a developmental training to deliver that level of precision later on, but with the authenticity to back it up. So thus, I don't know if it was fully a waste of time. It just may have not been the most efficient use of time.
So you put it that way. That's dope.
Big facts.
I mean, like
big facts. Yeah, no, I don't see it as a waste because without all that, you know, going and doing all that, you wouldn't have been able to, you know, become who you became in battle rap.
Bro,
and
you have like this, you know, dead ass look in your eyes and shit. Like you don't get a dead ass look in your eyes out of nowhere, right? You have to have, you know, that has to.
Yeah, that's another New York thing too. Like everybody, not everybody, but most people who's from New York got that look. Dutch got it, but he smiles a lot. You see him smiling right now, but he got that.
Like, he's very quick to throw that look out.
Big facts.
Very quick. Yeah. Change face.
That's
So that's fresh. So you're running through that. I guess at what point does it like kind of like evolve? Are there like do you evolve, I guess, from just freestyling and battling around to like, do you want to like start writing songs at a certain point, or is it more like the battle thing is really it?
So throughout that time that I explained, high school and all that, GD, we love freestyle. We love hearing another rapper jump on the hottest beat, the hottest song that's out at the time, and kill it themselves. We always wanted to kill that shit better than that nigga did, the original owner of the song. So if it was a fucking knock yourself out at the time that was out, Jada Kiss, we all rapping on that beat. So it wasn't really songs, but it was just we'll write some of the illest shit that we thought of to other people's beats. I would say that's like how our versions of songs started.
Yeah, but that's fair because it ties in, but it also ties into the culture of what's happening there, right? If I'm not mistaken, at that time, that's when 50 Cent's also really doing that with his mixtapes.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's what I told Blimey when we were talking to Blimes, that I was just like, or no, Gab, that we were talking to Gift to Gab, and she said, you know, that all she was doing was like rapping over shit. And I'm like, yeah, but like that is a demo back then. Like back then, that was a demo. Like at that point in time in hip hop, freestyling over other people's beats kind of became people's demos. And you'd have like a collection of like just you freestyling over people's beats. And sometimes labels would actually sign that shit. Right. So
yeah, that's a fact. Exactly. And those instrumentals was so accessible at the time. I'll buy one CD, my man got another one, he got another one. We tossing these shits around. Yo, right to that. And boom. It wasn't as easy as it is today to just find a producer to give you original beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's big facts. And were you like trying to push this as like mixtapes or anything, or was it just like for the sake of making them?
This was all fun, man. I just had fun doing it. It was just like I never thought like I wanted to be a rapper, but I never thought like I could do it. To be honest with you, that was never my mindset. But yeah, it was just to do it, to have fun, passing time.
I mean, turns out it was a pretty good way to pass time, is all I'm gonna say.